At the beginning of the drama, some students are bullying Jinsu. They beat him and throw him off the roof. After this, Jinsu is in the hospital when his dad arrives. Jinsu says to his dad, "Are they all okay?" "Sorry, Dad, I know this is wrong, but I wanted to kill them. I promise it won't happen again." Then Dad says, "It doesn't matter. Everything will be fine." Jinsu asks, "When will it be fine? Has anything ever been fine until now?" Dad remains silent. Jinsu says, "Answer me. Has nothing been fine until today? Whether I have to die or they do, until someone dies, nothing will be fine." Jinsu is suffering and says, "I want to kill everyone." Dad handles him and says, "Everything will be fine." Jinsu asks, "Do you also want to die? Should I kill you too?" In anger, he bites his dad and starts acting strangely. Then his dad picks up a book and, saying, "I'm sorry," he kills him. Then he carries his body in a bag when suddenly Jinsu's hand comes out. Dad checks that the body is still moving, and then Jinsu grabs Dad's hand. Dad pulls his hand away and steps back, and Jinsu is struggling to come out of the bag. In the next scene, all the students in the school are cleaning together. After this, all the students go home, but one girl, Hyunju, was sleeping in the classroom. She wakes up and starts to leave when a sound comes from a box. She goes to check. There, she sees a mouse. She takes it in her hand, and then the mouse bites her and starts acting strangely. As Hyunju starts to leave, Jinsu's dad arrives there. He asks, "What is happening here?" Hyunju says, "Nothing, this bit me, so I am leaving." Then, Jinsu's dad also catches and hits her. In the next scene, some students ask Cheong-san for a party because his new restaurant has opened, which his mom runs. Then at night, Cheong-san takes his 3 friends, Anjo, Isak, and Gyeong-soo, to his restaurant. Then they all eat food. The boy says to his mom, "Did you not change the restaurant's name? Why are you running the restaurant with my name?" The mom says, "Since before you were born, the name has been this." Then his mom starts doing her work. Then Isak says, "Have you heard about the science teacher? A strange smell comes from him. After his son went missing, he didn't come to school for a few days, and when he came back to school, a smell of blood was coming from him. After his son went missing, he has become strange." Jinsu used to stay quiet. It is heard that other boys bullied him a lot. Anjo says, "I feel very bad for Mr. Lee, remember? Last time he left the class in anger while teaching. I have heard he was a genius, and geniuses are often crazy." Then they are all packing food and leaving when Anjo calls Cheong-san and says, "I have to ask you something." She lets down her hair and asks, "This hairstyle looks good on me, right?" Cheong-san keeps looking at her, then later ignores her and leaves. The next morning, Anjo's dad tells her, "Bring good marks." Then Cheong-san comes to Anjo's house to call her. All the children go to school running. In the meantime, in the school's construction area, some students who had bullied Jin-soo are harassing Yoon-ji and another student. They are taking off Yoon-ji's clothes and making a video of her. Just then, Soo-hyuk arrives and tells both students, "Leave from here." As those people are leaving, they start blackmailing Eun-ji. Soo-hyuk says, "Don't be afraid, nothing will happen." But Yoon-ji says, "If I leave from here, these people will do a lot, that's why I am not leaving." Soo-hyuk leaves from there and comes to school. Then Anjo calls him and says, "You meet me on the terrace." Soo-hyuk says, "I have given up fighting." Anjo says, "You just come to meet me on the terrace." Then all students come to class. The teacher, Ms. Park, asks all students, "Does anyone know about Hyunju? If anyone finds out, come and tell me." Then after class, Ms. Park asks Mr. Lee, "You know my student Hyunju, right? She didn't reach her home last night, and students were saying after cleaning the science lab yesterday, she wasn't seen at all. Have you seen her anywhere?" Mr. Lee refuses and says, "I didn't even go to the science lab yesterday." Just then, a sound comes from the lab. Ms. Park asks, "Is someone inside?" Mr. Lee says, "Yes, there is a hamster for an experiment. I am leaving. I have to prepare for the next lecture." Then, after Ms. Park leaves, Mr. Lee goes into the lab. There, Hyunju was tied up and she was struggling. Mr. Lee records a video. In it, he says, "A mouse has bitten Hyunju. I gave an injection that stopped the infection, but I won't be able to do this for many days." Mr. Lee gives Hyunju an injection again. Hyunju says, "Don't kill me." Mr. Lee says, "Oh, should I not kill you? Don't even expect that from me." In the next scene, Mr. Lee is teaching about the virus in class. There, boys are bothering Yoon-ji in the middle of the class. On the other side, Hyunju is struggling and her hands come loose. Ms. Park was teaching in class, and then Hee-soo asks the teacher, "May I go to the washroom?" and takes permission. Just then, Hyunju arrives there and falls down as soon as she arrives. Ms. Park asks her, what happened to you?" Hyunju says, "The science teacher hit me and locked me in the lab." All students are shocked. Ms. Park tells all students, "Sit in your seats." Soo-hyuk, Anjo, and Ms. Park take Hyunju to the first aid room. Hee-soo is telling the doctor, My stomach is hurting. Just then, those people arrive with Hyun-ju and Hee-soo leaves from there. The doctor tells them, call an ambulance. Hyun-ju tells them, Mr. Lee also gave me a strange injection. He tried to kill me. Now I will kill everyone. Here, Hee-soo takes her bag from the class and leaves. Everyone in class is talking. Namra says, something is strange. Mr. Lee's son didn't disappear. He committed suicide. Yeonju used to stay with the bullies. This means Mr. Lee is looking for all those who bullied his son. Just then, Isak comes into the class. All students ask her. Isak says, Yeonju is acting very strange. She is trying to bite everyone. Cheong-san asks her, where is Onjo? Then he goes to look for her in the first aid room. By then, those people come out with Hyun-ju. The ambulance also arrives. Onjo's dad was also on duty in the ambulance. He said while bandaging Onjo, she didn't bite you too much, right? I will come home early from duty, then we will talk. The ambulance takes Yeonju to the hospital, and the teacher also informs her parents your daughter has been taken to the hospital. Then Soo-hyuk asks Onjo, are you hurt much? Why were you calling me to the roof? Onjo asks him for a date. Soo-hyuk says, but you are dating Cheong-san, right? Onjo says, no. We have lived in the same building since childhood and his mom also feeds me free chicken. But I don't like him at all. Just then, Cheong-san arrives from behind and asks, are you hurt much? Onjo says, I am fine, and leaves from there. Cheong-san asks Soo-hyuk, she wouldn't have been hurt much, right? Soo-hyuk says, no. Hyun-ju was going to bite us, and while saving ourselves from her, she got a little hurt. Anyway, are you dating Onjo? Cheong-san says, yes. Why are you asking all this? Soo-hyuk says, nothing, just like that, and both leave from there. Then Mr. Lee comes to the science lab and sees that Hyun-ju is not there. Then Miss Park comes there and tells him she has been taken to the hospital. Then Mr. Lee is brought to the principal's office. Mr. Lee says, you cannot take her to the hospital. She will have to be kept in quarantine. The principal says, what nonsense are you talking? You have already troubled the whole school because of your son. Mr. Lee says, he was being bullied and you took no action on this matter. The principal says, what are you saying? Anyway, evaluation is going to happen in school. And Ms. Park, you called the ambulance without asking me? What if the matter had reached the police? Ms. Park says, I have called the police. The principal says, teachers should end school matters within the school. Now tell them, do not come. Mr. Lee is about to run from there. Just then detectives arrive there and arrest Mr. Lee. In the first aid room, the doctor comes, and as she goes to fix the bed, she notices that Hyun-ju has bitten her. The virus slowly enters her too. Blood starts coming from her nose. Just then, it is lunchtime. All students are having lunch. There, Onjo says to Isak, I have told Soo-hyuk that I like him. Isak says, then what did he say? Did he not tell you what he feels for you? Onjo says, no, he didn't say anything. Then Soo-hyuk asks the class president Namra, will you go to meet Hyun-ju after school? The president asks, why are you asking me? Soo-hyuk says, because you are the class president. She says, do you know, my mom gave a donation to the school and made me class president. That's why no one considers me class president. So why should I behave like a president with them? After saying this, she leaves from there. Then some students pass by the first aid room and see the doctor there, who is behaving strangely. They start making a video of her. Then she goes and hits the wall and starts struggling. She stands up and bites that student. Then slowly the virus spreads to that student too. He goes into the class and starts biting all the students. On the other side, Yoonji is on the roof. She is about to commit suicide when her friend Kim Cheol-soo arrives and says, don't do this. Yoonji says, those people said they would upload my video. Cheol-soo says, they won't. They said they would delete it. I will make everything right. Please don't jump. Yoonji asks him, do you like me? The boy says, yes. Yoonji says, two losers like each other. You stay away from me. Yoonji is about to jump when she sees students being thrown from the school windows. Those people are biting each other. In the dining area, Isak says to Onjo, ask Cheong-san about Soo-hyuk. He is his good friend. He will know what he thinks of you. Just then, Cheong-san arrives and says, what happened? Did Soo-hyuk say something to you? Onjo says, I asked Soo-hyuk for a date, but he didn't say anything. Can you ask and tell me what he thinks about me? Cheong-san says, we aren't that close friends. Then Onjo starts to leave. Just then students arrive and start biting everyone. Someone is about to bite Onjo, then Cheong-san saves her. On the other side, the principal tells the teacher, I told you to take all the students' phones. So how did this zombie matter go out of the school? Just then, Ms. Park says, I have to make an announcement and tell the children to run. Ms. Park sees that all students are biting each other. Then Cheong-san and Onjo jump from the window and run from there. They safely arrive in their classroom where Na-yeon, Isak, and other students are. And from the other side, Soo-hyuk and Namra also arrive. On the other side, Mr. Lee is brought to the police station. There, detectives were reading Mr. Lee's bio data, but Mr. Lee was repeatedly saying the same thing. Hyun-ju should be quarantined in the hospital. Then detectives ask, why did you keep her tied up after all? Are you taking revenge for your son's disappearance from everyone? The truth is that you killed your own son, and you filed his missing report so we wouldn't suspect, right? Tell us, what did you do with him? Then Mr. Lee reveals, I kept a mouse and a cat in the same box. The mouse sat quietly in the corner, but eventually, out of fear, the mouse's brain would break and it would attack the cat. When that happened, its testosterone level increased. I extracted that hormone from the mouse and injected it into my son. I thought if I turned his fear into anger, he would become stronger than others, but he bit his mom. Then the detectives say, you killed your own son. On the other side, in the hospital, Yeonju's checkup is going on, and then she becomes a zombie and bites the doctors. In the next scene, a sports student's bus comes to Hyosun High School. There they see that everyone is biting each other. In the class, Cheong-san and other students call the emergency center, and Cheong-san tells them, everyone here has become a zombie. But those people say, we don't believe you, and hang up. In that same emergency center, many calls start coming that zombies have arrived. Then Anjo calls the fire station to call her dad and says, a fire has broken out here, please come quickly. Everyone waits for the police. Just then the sports teacher, Mr. Kang, arrives there and asks all the children, are you all okay? Mr. Kang says, I am fine. We have to lock these doors. All the children start placing tables in front of the door. Just then, Isak sees that there are zombie tooth marks on Mr. Kang's hand. She says, a zombie bit your hand. But Mr. Kang starts hiding that mark and says, no one bit me. Isak says, you have to leave from here. But Mr. Kang doesn't leave. Blood starts coming from his nose, and he also becomes a zombie. Because the door is locked, they are not able to go out. Mr. Kang has bitten one of the students. Other students start hitting him to save themselves. Namra removes all the tables from the door, and the other safe students run from there towards another class. Everyone goes to the other class while hitting the zombies, but it is locked. They break the lock and go inside. Anjo thinks everyone is there, but Soo-hyuk is not. Here on the terrace, Yoonji and Cheol-soo both stand and watch. Yoonji says, looks like now only the two of us are left alive. Then Ms. Park makes an announcement and says, the situation in school has become very bad. Everyone go to a safe place and hide. Call the fire station for help. Until help is received, everyone stay hidden. In the class, Isak says to Cheong-san, Soo-hyuk is not found. That's why Anjo is not talking to anyone. You go and talk to her. Cheong-san says, why are you telling me? She will see to it herself. Isak goes to Anjo and says, Soo-hyuk will be found. Nothing will happen to him. But Cheong-san is acting very strange. It seems that he likes you. Anjo says, it's not like that. He just keeps teasing me. He doesn't like me. Anjo was holding Isak's hand. She thinks Isak's hand is very cold and asks her, why is your hand so cold? But by then, blood starts coming from Isak's nose, and she remembers a zombie bit her leg. She also becomes a zombie, but Isak is Anjo's good friend, so she starts crying. Cheong-san throws her out of the window, but Anjo catches her hand. But Cheong-san makes her fall. Cheong-san says, we have to get out of here. We will need a rope. They bring a rope and tie a knot and drop it from the window. Then Gyeong-soo reaches the window of the second floor. Ms. Park is there. One by one, they all come to the second floor using the rope. While going, the class president leaves a note for Soo-hyuk. We are in the class on the second floor. Soo-hyuk is hidden in some other class. Everyone goes down. Only Cheong-san is left. On the other side, Mr. Lee tells the detective, all this happened because of a virus. They ask, why did you make this virus? Mr. Lee says, do you have children? Would you let your children die? Parents can never do that. The detective says, I want the answer to the question. Just then, he is called by the chief for an emergency. Mr. Lee says, now it's too late. Everyone will die. It's useless to hope. On the other side, Hee-soo is in the park washroom, and she gives birth to a child. Cheong-san is hanging from the rope. Zombies are hanging from his legs. Soo-hyuk is also near the window, and he hangs with him to save him, and both come to the second floor. Then students ask Ms. Park, where are the other teachers? Did you call them? Ms. Park says, I don't have a phone. Did anyone make an emergency call? Cheong-san says, yes, we did, but no one is coming. Ms. Park says, they will come. Anjo says, Hyunju's hands were also cold and Isak's too. Did this start from Hyunju after all? But Hyunju is in the hospital. Cheong-san says, maybe that's why no one is coming. This virus must have spread there too. Then the students start searching for the virus on the computer kept in the class. Here Hee-soo is walking on the road, then a police car overturns near her. She is saved, but zombies come out of that car and start biting everyone. In the class, students open Facebook on the computer. Then a zombie starts coming through the window. Then Gyeong-soo picks up the CPU and makes him fall down. Blood starts coming from Gyeong-soo's nose. Everyone starts watching. Gyeong-soo says, it's not like that. When Soo-hyuk was pushing the zombie away with the mop, it hit my nose. Everyone tells him, go out. But Gyeong-soo says, it's not like that. Everyone checks his body, but they only find scratch marks, and everyone says, "We believe you." Nayeon says, "I saw. The zombie caught his hand. He is also infected." Everyone says, "Infection doesn't happen by catching a hand." Anjo says, "I also caught Isak's hand. I didn't get infected." Cheongsan says, "Look, Nayeon, we know you hate Young-soo, but that doesn't mean you can kick him out without anything happening. He saved our lives." Ms. Park says, "Young-soo, you sit in the recording room for 10 minutes. The suspicion on you will be removed." Young-soo says, "I will stay for a full hour. If nothing happens to me, Nayeon will have to apologize to me." Then he goes into the recording room. Cheongsan's mom and dad are in the restaurant. His dad goes for some work. Mom is listening to the news on TV. The virus is spreading and everyone is ordered to leave the city. His mom takes the scooty and leaves from there. Anjo's dad has received a call from headquarters. A virus is spreading by biting. Stay away from infected people as much as possible. Just then, their staff member becomes infected and he has become a zombie. This virus spreads throughout the city. All securities are placed around the school. Cheongsan's mom starts going inside, but she is stopped. Then she starts going by another route. Then she meets Hee-soo on the way. She asks her, "You study in Hyosan High School, right? What are you doing here? Is everything okay in school?" But Hee-soo has a baby in her hand. She leaves from there. Zombies start coming behind the mom. Here, Cheongsan tells Young-soo, "Come out!" But he doesn't come. He says to Ms. Park, "It's been 30 minutes. Why isn't he coming out?" Ms. Park goes into the recording room. Then he says, "I will come out in 1 hour only." Ms. Park says to Nayeon, "You go and apologize to Gyeong-soo." Nayeon goes to the recording room. Nayeon talks to him, but Gyeong-soo talks to her rudely and says, "If you don't want to apologize, then go from here." Nayeon takes out her handkerchief and starts cleaning his scratch. Then Nayeon starts fighting with him and says, "I want you to just lie here." Gyeong-soo comes out and starts fighting with her. Then it becomes night. Nayeon says, "When will you all listen to me? I know he is infected. Look at that." Blood starts coming from Gyeong-soo's nose. Slowly, the virus starts spreading in him. Gyeong-soo starts crying and says, "What should I do? I will become a zombie." He starts going out himself. Then he becomes a zombie, and he is about to bite everyone. Then Cheong-san whistles and throws him out of the window. On the other side, Hee-soo is also running, and there is a zombie bite mark on her hand, too. She reaches Cheong-san's restaurant. She puts her baby to sleep on the table and starts becoming a zombie. She ties herself to the gate so that she cannot harm her baby. Anjo's dad has tied up 2 infected people and tells everyone, "Do not touch infected people. This spreads by touching. Helicopters are coming for help. We will have to wait a little." Anjo's dad asks the department, "If anyone has information about Hyosan School, tell me." But no one answers. Everyone in the class is shocked and thinks, how can Gyeong-soo be infected after all? Nayeon says, "If I hadn't told you, you all would have died." The class president Namra says, "You did all this. When we were looking at Gyeong-soo, you were standing alone in the back. You cleaned the blood on that stick with your handkerchief and cleaned Gyeong-soo's scratch with that same handkerchief." Ms. Park says, "If this is true, then Nayeon killed Gyeong-soo." Nayeon takes out the handkerchief and says, "I didn't kill him." Namra says, "Then clean your own wound with this handkerchief. If you are right, then clean it." Nayeon says, "I cleaned Gyeong-soo's blood with this." She is about to clean it when Ms. Park stops her. Nayeon says, "It would be better if I died. This is what you all want, right?" Cheong-san hits Nayeon in anger and says, "How can you do this?" Then she says, "No one is my friend. I don't need anyone." And she goes out of the class. Ms. Park says, "Whatever happens, don't die. And no one should die because of you." And Ms. Park goes out to save Nayeon. In the next scene, a vlogger comes to Hyosan to see the zombies. He is live streaming on his account. He finds all this a joke, but when he sees real zombies, he runs and hides to save his life. Anjo and Cheong-san become upset remembering their friend. On the other side, Cheong-san's mom reaches the school ground. There she meets Gyeong-soo, who has become a zombie. She goes and asks him about Cheong-san, then he bites the mom too. Soo-hyuk says, "Does anyone not have to go to the washroom?" Everyone says, "We all have to go, but we cannot go outside." Yoonji and Cheol-soo are still standing on the terrace and waiting for help to arrive. Anjo's dad is also stuck in a building with VIPs. Anjo's dad says, "Because the rescue team will come in the morning, today we will have to stay in this building tonight." Here all students make the recording room a toilet. Anjo's dad says to the lady, "I have to go to the school to save my daughter." But that lady explains to him, "The danger outside is very much. If you go, you won't survive. She will be safe in school." Sports students and seniors are also stuck in the washroom. They think, "It is night. Now we have to get out of here." But they have an argument on some matter and they start fighting among themselves. On the other side, detectives ask Mr. Lee, "Do you know what is happening outside? Tell me, why did you do this?" Then Mr. Lee says, "They troubled my son a lot. Troubled by them, he tried to commit suicide. I thought I would make everything right. The principal also didn't listen to me. At that time, I realized that this world belongs to the powerful, and someone weak like me cannot change it. Then I decided to change my son. I hoped he wouldn't die. I didn't want him to commit suicide again. I wanted to save him. I wanted to keep him alive. Hearing this, the detectives say, "But why are you killing all the people because of that? What was their fault? There must be some cure for this." Then Mr. Lee says, "There is no cure for this." The detective says, "Come with me. We have to evacuate this city." Then they come out, and then they see that all the officers become zombies. Mr. Lee has also been bitten by a zombie, and he says to the detective, "My laptop is in the school lab. Its cure is in that. You go and save it." Mr. Lee also becomes a zombie. Then the detective and one more police officer go towards the school. Then it becomes morning. The sports students stuck in the washroom say, "Now we have to go from here. First of all, we will go to the second floor. My brother is there. We will take him and leave from here." On the other side, Namra says, "How long will we stay like this? How will we survive without eating or drinking?" Cheong-san says, "How will we know what is happening outside? If we had a phone, we would know." On the other side, Chol-soo says to Eunji, "When you were bullied, they made a video of you. Those people said, 'We are putting that video on schedule.' If the money is not given by 9 o'clock, they will post that video." Yoonji starts crying and says, "You are telling me now? It's 9 o'clock. That means everyone will see that video now. I have to bring that phone." Cheol-soo stops her, but Yoonji goes alone. Cheol-soo does not come with her. There, Cheong-san says, "There is a staff room below this floor. If I don't find a phone, I will come back." Then Soo-hyuk and Cheong-san try to go from the window. Then Yoonji also comes towards the staff room, but a zombie has bitten her too. Soo-hyuk and Cheong-san come into the staff room and see that Yoonji is breaking all the phones there. Cheong-san picks up a phone fallen below. Just then, Yoonji sees him. She attacks him. Soo-hyuk saves Cheong-san. Soo-hyuk goes out of the window and Cheong-san goes out of the class with the phone. On the other side, Anjo's dad prepares to take all the VIPs to the roof, and, saving them from zombies, he sends them to the roof. But the roof is locked. To open it, those people bring tools. Anjo's dad is handling the zombies alone. They break the door lock. Anjo's dad, Soju, also reaches the roof. Here, Cheong-san, while running, reaches the principal's office. There, Guinam is tying up the principal. He asks, "What are you doing?" Guinam says, "He tried to kill me. He is saying, 'You should go and bring my car alone.'" Cheong-san starts making a video of him. Guinam kills the principal with a knife and says to Cheong-san, "Give me the phone," and starts hitting him too. Cheong-san runs from there. Guinam chases him. On the other side, a helicopter also arrives to save the VIPs, and Anjo's dad and all the people sit in it. In the news, they tell lockdown is being imposed in the city. Here, Soo-hyuk reaches the class. Anjo asks, "Where is Cheong-san?" Soo-hyuk says, "We both got separated there. He will be safe." Guinam throws a knife at Cheong-san, but Cheong-san escapes the knife and reaches the library. There, Guinam starts hitting him and asks, "Give me the phone." But Cheong-san throws him among the zombies and runs from there and hides in the pipeline area. And he starts making an emergency call, but the call does not connect. On the other side, sports students also running reach a class, and they see a computer there. They try to run the internet in it, but the government has stopped the internet and phone service of Hyo-san City. That's why they are not able to do anything. On the other side, Anjo is worrying about Cheong-san. Then she asks Jun-young, "Did you make a drone in the science club?" Jun-young says, "Yes." "Do you want to find Cheong-san with that drone? This is possible, but it is lying in the science lab." Then Anjo asks, "Can we go and get it?" Jun-young says, "But how will we go there? There are zombies outside." Anjo says, "We have to find Cheong-san no matter what." Then Jun-young says, "But who will go there to get it?" Anjo says, "I will go." Then Soo-hyuk says, "No, I will go." Jun-young says, "That drone was not fully made, so some other parts will be needed. I know where those parts are, so I will go with Anjo." Then Jun-young and Anjo go to the upper floor with the help of a rope. On the other side, Detective Jae-ik and security Ho Cheol, saving themselves from zombies, come to Gyeong-soo's restaurant. Then they hide seeing Hee-soo there, who has become a zombie. Jae-ik thinks, "Everything is fine, that girl is tied up." Then Ho Cheol screams and says, "There is a small baby there." Jae-ik sees that baby and says, "It is alive." Ho Cheol says, "Now what will we do?" Then Jae-ik says, "What else will we do? We will go to headquarters." Then Ho Cheol says, "We are not able to save our own lives. How will we save this baby?" On the other side, Cheong-san is still stuck in the pipeline area. He starts remembering his mom and Anjo. Then he opens the metal door and comes out from there and, avoiding zombies, comes to the music room. On the other side, Anjo and Junyong safely arrive with the drone. Then Junyong starts flying the drone and says, "After finding Cheong-san, we will send it out and call rescuers for help." Then they send the drone out and see that all the students have become zombies. On the other side, sports students make a plan. Let's escape from the school by avoiding zombies. Then those people, while shooting arrows, jump from the window and reach the bottom of the school. Then Soo Hyok sees through the drone that arrows have been shot at the zombies and says emotionally, "My sister today was her competition." Then the drone comes near the music room, and they see Cheong-san, and Soo Hyok excitedly hugs Anjo. Then Junyong says, "It is not charged. We cannot fly it for much longer." Then they send the drone outside the school and see that the whole city is full of zombies. Then the drone falls down. On the other side, Anjo's dad and all the VIPs are safely brought to the quarantine area. Everyone is tested there. Then Anjo's dad says, "My daughter is stuck in the school. She has to be taken out, otherwise it will be too late. Please rescue her." The soldiers say, "We will try." On the other side, Guinam lies unconscious in the library as a zombie. Then suddenly a fly comes on his cheek and he starts behaving normally. Then other zombies come near him, but they don't bite him. Seeing this, Guinam is shocked. He says, "Why are they not biting me?" In a flashback, Mr. Lee's video is shown in which he says, "I gave them serotonin injections for a week, but there was no use. As soon as the antivirus enters the body, the virus changes and stops attacking its target. This means the cell recognizes it and changes its form. If this virus infects the human brain, a different and new species of humanity will be born." And Guinam's memory comes back that Cheong-san had hit him. And in anger, he sets out to take revenge on him, and no zombie attacks him. Then in a flashback, it is shown that Mr. Lee says in the video, "Hans Jonas talked about responsibilities regarding human life. That's why I have named this virus the Jonas virus. Making its antidote is also my responsibility, and I will not give up." In the next scene, Cheong-san is in some classroom where he finds a camera. And near that, Na-yeon is also hidden in the storeroom. Then Jimin, suddenly getting up, is about to jump from the class. Just then Anjo and other people save her, and she says, "My mom and dad are no more, so what will I do living?" Then Anjo starts explaining to her, "We have to keep courage." Just then, the microphone kept on the table turns on, and Namra comes and starts looking at that mic, and an idea comes to her. She says, "Maybe now we can get out from here." And then she explains her plan to everyone. "With the sound of this mic, we will distract the zombies and take Cheong-san to the roof. We can take help from a helicopter there." Then those people turn on the mic and say in an announcement, "Cheong-san, can you hear us? Stay wherever you are. We are coming to get you." Along with Cheong-san, Guinam and Na-yeon are also listening to this. After that, they turn on a podcast in the speaker. All the zombies run towards the speakers. But one zombie stands outside their class. Soo Hyuk says, "We should not wait anymore. We should escape while avoiding this." Then they all come out one by one from behind that zombie. Just then a bottle falls and that zombie starts chasing them. Everyone runs away, but that zombie catches Soo Hyuk. Just then, Guinam comes from behind and kills that zombie with a knife. Then Guinam says to Soo Hyuk, "Where is Cheong-san?" Soo Hyuk says, "Why? What happened?" Guinam says, "I will kill him." Soo Hyuk says, "You are hurt a lot. Are you okay?" Guinam repeatedly asks him about Cheong-san, but Soo Hyuk does not tell. So Guinam starts hitting him. Just then Namra comes from behind and catches him, but Guinam bites her. Then Soo Hyuk pushes Guinam and throws him from the window. Then Soo Hyuk sees that there is a bite mark on Namra's hand. Even then, he takes her and leaves. On the other side, sports students also escape and reach a safe place. Here, all students reach Cheong-san and say, "We have to reach the roof before the music ends." Anjo says, "Soo Hyuk is not here," and goes out. Other people also go behind her. Na-yeon is listening to all this. Then, as soon as Anjo goes out, Soo Hyuk and Namra come from the front, and behind them are many zombies. They all saving themselves come into that class. Hyo-ryong says, "Namra, the zombie bit you too. What is this mark?" On the other side, Anjo's dad, Soju, says to the politician, "How much more time do we have to stay here? I have to go from here." Just then, soldiers come and keep food. Then they also ask them, "Can we go out?" But they do not give permission and say no. Then Soju hits them and puts on their uniform and mask. And there is another team member with him. Here in class, Soo Hyuk takes Namra's side and says, "Guinam bit her." Cheong-san says, "A zombie had bitten Guinam." Soo Hyuk says, No, he was talking normally. He recognized me. Namra says, now I will also become a zombie, and starts to go out. But Soo-hyuk does not let her go and says to everyone, she will not become a zombie. If she becomes a zombie, I will throw her out of the window myself. After a while, Namra started behaving like a zombie and was about to bite Soo-hyuk, but Chung-san pulls Soo-hyuk back. But Soo-hyuk takes Namra's side only and says, nothing happened to her. Namra becomes normal again, so An-jo says, maybe it can be that a zombie bit Gui-nam, but he didn't become a zombie. I saw in movies that some people are immune. It doesn't have an effect on them. But no one believes An-jo. Namra herself was about to go out, but An-jo does not let her go. Soo-hyuk ties his and Namra's hands with a cloth and says, even if she becomes a zombie, nothing will happen to you. It will happen to me. In the next scene, Detective Jae-ik and security Ho-cheol come out with the baby, but a little girl comes behind, whom are zombies. They save that girl and come inside again. On the other side, all students are hungry. They go to see in the storeroom, but Na-yeon is in it, and she has locked the door. They try to break the door, so Na-yeon hides there. Here, Soju tries to run from that safe area so that he can save An-jo in the school. But the military starts shooting at him. He starts running, saving himself. Then in class, Jun-young picks up the camera and, remembering his mom and dad, makes a video. Then seeing her, everyone emotionally makes a video for their respective mom and dad. In a flashback again, Mr. Lee says, hope is still left. Some white blood cells have been found in their blood. Even after becoming a zombie completely, white blood cells survived. And right now they are fighting like a warrior. If I increase the body temperature, the white blood cells will become powerful. If the blood flow doesn't start, I will increase both the body heat and room temperature. Then Mr. Lee places heaters around Jin-soo and his mom. Present. On the other side, Soju falls into the water, saving himself. But then, coming out, he sees that a zombie has bitten him too. On the other side in the class, Soo-hyuk and Namra are sitting on the side. Namra says, why are you doing so much for me? You know, when I was about to bite you, it felt like I was seeing a dream. A different fragrance was coming from you, but as soon as you took my name, I became normal. You never take my name. Why is that? Then Soo-hyuk says, I was afraid that you would find out. Namra asks, what? Soo-hyuk says, I love you. After a while, Namra also says to Soo-hyuk, I also love you, and she kisses him and says, it's good I found out before dying. Then Yoonji goes to the duty room. There a teacher is hidden. Yoonji goes to him so he gets scared. Yoonji says, I am fine. I am just very hungry, and she starts eating fish from the fish tank. The teacher says, it looks like you are not okay. Did someone bite you? Yoonji says, yes, they bit me. Then the teacher hits her with a kettle, but nothing happens to Eunji, and she says, remember when I used to tell you that those people trouble me? Then you said to go and tell your class teacher you didn't help me at all. Just then, from behind, the teacher attacks her with a knife, but she bites him. Just then, Namra hears a sound that someone is vomiting. On the other side, Yoonji is vomiting and the teacher has become a zombie. Then Namra notices and thinks, I am able to hear every small thing clearly. On the other side below, Gui-nam stands up again and washes his face, and in anger says, I will take revenge on Cheong-san. After that, An-jo gets an idea and she says, we will play musical instruments in this class and keep the room front gate open. We will put benches in the middle of the class. As soon as they enter the class from the front, we will go to the roof from the back gate. Then everyone starts putting benches. So An-jo unties Soo-hyuk and Namra's hands. On the other side, Soju comes out saving himself, but he has to face many zombies. Just then, he finds a gun there, so he moves forward, hitting all the zombies. In the next scene, Ho-cheol and Detective Jae-ik put tape on their hands and feet, and they also put tape on that little girl. And then, they, taking the girl on a bike, move forward avoiding zombies. Just then, someone on the way screams for help. Just then, Jae-ik sees that on the roof of some house, a man is asking for help. He gets off the bike to save him. Just then, Ho-cheol, taking that girl, runs from there to save his own life. Then in class, all students go to the other side of the benches. But Soo-hyuk and Cheong-san stop at the front side so that they can open the gate. Just then, Soo-hyuk says, what happened between you and Gui-nam? He was looking for you in anger. Cheong-san says, he had killed the principal and I had made a video of it. It's just for this he is angry. Soo-hyuk says, he has died. I had thrown him from the 4th floor window. And then laughing says, I like Namra, and An-jo is a good girl, treat with her a little love. Then Soo-hyuk opens the gate and both come to the other side. All zombies, hearing the sound, come into the class. But due to there being more zombies, those people start pushing the benches. Everyone is standing holding the benches and An-jo starts playing instruments loudly. But still, some zombies are outside, so they cannot run out. Those people try their best. After all the zombies come, those people run to the roof. Hearing the sound, Gui-nam also comes there, but by then, Cheong-san had gone from there. On the other side in the quarantine zone, the MLA asks the soldier, "What about my checkup?" But those people say, no one can be given special treatment. These are the rules here. So the MLA says, "Our firefighter has gone alone to save the school children. Please, you save them no matter what. If we win this war without saving them, we will lose even after winning." Then soldiers arrange a helicopter to save the Hyosin school children. Then students come to the roof, but the door there is locked. Those people try hard to open the door, but inside is Cheol-soo. He does not open the door. Just then, hearing the sound, zombies arrive. Soo-hyuk and Cheong-san start hitting them. There is a carpet on the side. Those people throw it from above so that it works as a curtain. With that, the zombies stop. Then, Guinam also starts coming towards the roof. Just then, a helicopter arrives on the roof for rescue. They check Cheol-soo's temperature and ask, "Are you okay? Who else is with you?" He lies and says, "Only I have survived. Everyone else has become zombies." They take him and leave. On the other side, Yoonji goes to the school library and sets fire to the books. Here, Guinam starts hitting Cheong-san. Just then, Namra is about to become a zombie and, squeezing Guinam's throat, says, "Why are you not dying?" Then, because of the fire, all doors open. Anjo and everyone come to the roof. They call the helicopter for help, but it goes away. Guinam tries to open the roof door and goes back. Then Cheong-san asks Soo-hyuk, "But you said you had killed Guinam?" Soo-hyuk says, "Truly, I had thrown him down. Maybe he can never die, or he becomes alive after dying." So Cheong-san says, "Do you remember that girl Yoonji? Guinam has also become like her, and Namra too." Soo-hyuk says, "She will be fine." Cheong-san says, "There is no guarantee of this." Soo-hyuk says, "If Anjo had become like this, would you have left her like this?" Then they all make an SOS sign with wood. Then Yoonji comes out of the school by cycle. On the other side, Soju makes a map of Hyosan school. In the next scene, Jae-ik also ties tape on that man's feet. He is the YouTuber who had come to record a live video. Jae-ik throws things to distract the zombies, but this idea does not work. Just then, Ho-cheol brings the school bus and tells both to jump. The YouTuber and Jae-ik, both saving themselves from zombies, climb onto the school bus. Then it starts becoming evening. On the roof, students try to light a fire, but the fire doesn't light. Just then, Namra comes and gives a lighter and says, "I have a habit of smoking." On the other side, Jae-ik and the children are going by bus when a cycle collides in front. Jae-ik comes out and looks. Then Yoonji is there. They ask her, "Are you okay? Come with us. I am a policeman." Just then, military people come and start firing. Then Jae-ik says, "She is normal. I am a policeman. Do not fire bullets." On the other side, sports students also think of going to the roof. For that, those people practice shooting arrows. On the roof, students start singing a song to amuse themselves. Then Nayeon comes out of the storeroom and she sees the camera. She takes it and comes into the storeroom again and watches everyone's videos and becomes emotional. And she fills a bag with food and drink. Just then, she realizes that she has made a mistake. She thinks, "I killed Gyeong-soo intentionally." And she remembers that when Ms. Park and she both had gone out, a zombie had bitten Ms. Park and she had hidden saving herself. Then Nayeon starts crying and comes out with the supplies. Just then, Guinam arrives, so Nayeon gets scared. Then Guinam catches and bites her. Up on the roof, in front of everyone, Cheong-san tells Anjo, "I like you." But Anjo takes it as a joke and getting up leaves. Then Cheong-san goes to her and says, "Sorry, I just told the truth." Just then, Guinam comes onto the roof through the pipe from outside the window and catches Cheong-san. So Soo-hyuk goes to save him, but he hits Soo-hyuk. And he says to everyone, "If you don't want to die with Cheong-san, then run away." But no one goes, so he starts hitting everyone. Just then, Namra, becoming a zombie, starts hitting him and, picking him up, throws him from the roof and then becomes normal. On the other side in the lab, scientists check the virus, but this virus cannot be identified correctly. Then military officers interrogate Jae-ik. Jae-ik tells them the virus that is spread in Hyosan. Its name is the Jonas virus. Hyosan High School's science teacher, Mr. Lee, had made it. His laptop is in that same school's lab. He said that the antidote to this virus is in that same laptop. Then Cheol-soo is in the quarantine zone. There he meets Yeonji, who has come here with a detective. He goes to her and talks to her. Yeonji says, "You had run away leaving me, right? I'll give you one piece of good news. I have set the school on fire." Cheol-soo says, "What kind of strange things are you talking?" Yeonji says, "I am hungry and I become like this." Cheol-soo gives her his food, but Yeonji says, "I don't want to eat this." Cheol-soo says, "This is all there is to eat." Yeonji says, "I want to eat you." On the other side on the roof, everyone is sitting. Then Namra hears a sound that a helicopter is coming. Everyone starts screaming for help. The military officers check everyone's temperature. Everyone comes out normal, but Namra's temperature comes out low. They give her a blanket and go to check below if there is anyone else. Then those people go towards the lab and check the laptop and they find the file. And then those people are about to board the students in the helicopter. Just then on the other side in the quarantine zone, Yoonji starts biting everyone. Then officers see that some people have the virus, but they do not have symptoms. That means we cannot see the difference in these people. Then those people give an order to the rescue team. Do not rescue anyone. Anyone can be infected. Here in one case, symptoms were not seen, yet he was infected. If you make a mistake, everyone's life will be in danger. Then those people do not take anyone. They just leave with the laptop. And then the students start crying. On the other side, Soju is going saving himself. Just then a man comes and asks for help, but Soju refuses. I have to go to save my daughter. But then he sees that his family is stuck in the car, so he gives his gun and food supplies to him. In a flashback, Mr. Lee says, "Now we have no hope left. It looks like the devil has completely entered the human body. Even if we win against this virus, humanity will never return to this world again." Seeing them become bloodthirsty animals like this, who can say that life is beautiful? This is exactly like hitting one's head against a wall thinking it's a door. Science starts from imagination and ends on mystery. While coming home, I went to meet an occultist. Then, showing a talisman, he says, "With this talisman, everything will be fine." Then Mr. Lee starts crying. In the next scene, an infected girl is tested. Then a soldier says while talking among themselves, its test will come negative or positive according to time. We will have to assume that this is, in a way, a fusion or evolution. This virus is hidden in the cell's RNA. It is found out only when symptoms are shown, not when it is quiet. This means it won't be known from a test who is infected and who is not. This is like a fight going on between a human and a monster inside. We will have to keep a close eye on everyone. Then very strong lightning starts. Namra's ears start hurting a lot. So Soo Hyok tears a piece of his shirt and puts it in her ear. Then it also starts raining, and then everyone starts crying. Because of the lightning, Guinam also starts having pain in his ears. Then Cheong-san says, "Zombies follow us by hearing our voice. If we leave from here with the sound of lightning, they won't come after us. And we will go to that mountain by the back path." So Anjo says, "If we reach the mountain, we can easily reach Yangdong." Then they slowly go down and, with the support of the lightning sound, come out from there. Then below, the sports students also adopt this same idea and start going towards that mountain with the sound of lightning. Then Cheong-san, taking everyone, comes towards the outside. Just then, he sees that his mom has become a zombie and she is about to attack him. Just then, Anjo saves him. Then Dai-soo is hitting his mom and making her run away. So Cheong-san gets angry and starts hitting Dai-soo. Then he says to everyone, "This is my mom." Then from the sound of hitting, other zombies start coming, so everyone runs from there. But Cheong-san loudly calls his mom. Because of that, more zombies start coming. Those people run fast and are saved. But one girl falls down, so Woo Jin comes to save her. Just then, sports students also save her there. One of them is Woo Jin's sister. They all reach the tennis stadium, but there are many zombies there. Everyone runs towards the storeroom, but Jun Seong is bitten by zombies. Then soldiers watch Mr. Lee's video on the laptop in which Lee says, "To make a vaccine, the virus's pattern should be the same, but the Jonas virus keeps changing itself every moment. This is a continuously changing monster. It's very difficult to make any medicine or vaccine for this. There is only one way. The infected must be killed and burned. Not even one of its cells should survive. If even a little leniency is shown that we can defeat the virus, then consider humanity finished." Then soldiers say KDCA is preparing a virus exactly like he did, and if they become successful, then it will be completely proved that this is correct. Then soldiers decide that Hyosin's security should be increased more. No one will go out. If the brigade was broken, it means someone has gone out. Then it becomes morning. Students are stuck in the store only. Then Dai-soo finds chocolate from a basket. Everyone eats a little bit of chocolate. Then everyone putting on safety guards comes out. All zombies attack them, so they all make a circle around themselves with the carts. But zombies start climbing up, and they bite Jun-young. Then Jun-young himself jumps out of the circle and distracts the zombies, and himself becomes a zombie too. On the other side, soldiers give an order, drop bombs on Hyo-san to save the other states. Then all students reach the door, but the door is locked, so Anjo pushes it hard repeatedly. Her sound reaches Guinam. Anjo tries to open the door. Just then the door opens, and there Anjo's dad, So-ju, arrives. So Anjo starts crying seeing her dad. Then Dad tells all the students, go towards the mountain. Everyone running reaches the tennis court, but there are many zombies there. Soju distracts everyone, but he has also been bitten. But he takes everyone out from there and stays inside himself. Anjo starts crying seeing her dad, but Dad says, don't you worry about me. Go from here. Then those people running reach the construction area, but there also are zombies. On the other side, Guinam tries to find Cheong-san by his scent. Then suddenly Namra becomes a zombie and was about to bite Soo-hyuk. But to control herself, she bites herself. So Soo-hyuk sees her and says to her, next time you feel like biting, you bite me, so that I also become like you. Then from a helicopter, soldiers announce, a bomb attack will be made on Hyo-san school. If you are not infected, hide in a safe place. Then all students think, we will have to hide underground. Just then Guinam arrives and starts hitting Cheong-san and bites him. So Cheong-san throws Guinam down. Then Cheong-san sees that a mark has been made on his hand. Anjo starts crying. Cheong-san says, you all stay safe. And hugging Anjo, he goes from there and distracts the zombies so that the rest of the people can run from there safely. Everyone slowly comes out of the construction area and Cheong-san distracts all the zombies. Just then, Guinam arrives again and starts hitting Cheong-san. Then all soldiers get the order and they slowly start dropping bombs on all the zombies. And then those people also drop a bomb on the school. Then the senior soldier says, our mission is complete. In the morning, send rescues and take out the rest of the surviving people. Then the senior soldier goes to tell the MLA, we have dropped bombs on Hyo-san. So the MLA, hearing this, was very angry. Then the senior soldier, while recording a video, says, this morning I saw Mr. Lee's last video. That man who made this virus with a dangerous purpose tried his best to save his wife and child infected with the virus, but could not save them. This was his last decision. In Mr. Lee's video, he tries to burn Jinsu and his wife. Then he says, I am a soldier, and I gave the order to drop bombs on Hyo-san. No one gave me this advice, nor did anyone give me this order. Being a martial law commander, this was only my own decision. I take full responsibility for this. Then he turns off the video and calls his wife and becomes emotional and says, I miss you and I'm sorry. Saying this, he cuts the call. Then he takes out a gun and shoots himself. Then in the morning, all students are on the mountain path and see that Hyo-san's school has completely turned into ash. Anjo is very sad and says, I will come right now, you people go, I will come. So Soo-hyuk says, I will also come with you. Then Namra says, I will also come. Then those three go to the construction area again, and Anjo starts looking for Cheong-san and calling him starts crying. Then Soo-hyuk tells her to move. Then those people come back. Then those people, while walking, reach Yangdong. And there they see that all animals are dead. Just then, Namra hears a sound that zombies are coming. She tells everyone, run! Everyone starts running. But the path ends, so those people face the zombies. Those people hit the zombies with sticks. The zombies die, but they had bitten Woo Jin, and he also becomes a zombie. And he was about to attack his own sister, Hari. Just then, Namra comes and kills him. Then Namra says, more zombies are coming. We will have to run. Everyone runs ahead, but Namra stays behind and starts becoming a zombie, and she feels like eating everyone. Then she stops and bites herself. Then Soo-hyuk sees that Namra has stayed behind. He goes back looking for her. Anjo also goes behind him, and they see that Namra is eating another dead body. And then Namra comes running and tries to bite Anjo, but Soo-hyuk saves her. Then Namra runs from there. Soo-hyuk goes after her, but Namra is not found. Then they all reach the border. There is military there. They check them and send them for quarantine. Then every single person there is interrogated. What do you know about Mr. Lee? How did this virus spread in the school? Then 3 months pass, but it is told in the news. It has been 3 months today since the martial law imposed due to the pandemic. The martial law imposed in Hyo-san is being removed, but still everyone will remain in quarantine only. No vaccine for the virus has been made yet. Then at night in the curfew time, Anjo, jumping the wall, goes to a tree where tags of everyone's names are placed. Anjo had also placed 2 tags on it, one for Namra, in which it is written, Namra, come back, and the second for Cheong-san, she has written, I love you. She places food packets under both tags. Then it becomes morning. Anjo says to Soo-hyuk, last night I went to that tree. I saw from there that someone is making a campfire on the school's roof. Namra had said once that next time if we are together, we will definitely make a campfire. I will go there tonight. So Soo-hyuk says, I will also come. Anjo says, but do not tell anyone else. Then at night, Anjo reaches near the wall to go there, then all the students are there. Anjo says, I had told you not to tell anyone. Then everyone decides to go together. Everyone comes to the school again, and going to the roof, they see that a campfire was going on, but no one was nearby. Just then Namra comes from behind. So Soo-hyuk says, are you okay? Where had you gone? Then Anjo tells Namra, "Come with us." But Namra refuses and says, "I cannot come with you. Those people will not let me come." So Anjo says, "It is not like that. You are not a zombie." So Namra says, "I am neither a zombie nor a human. You forgive me, I cannot come. No matter where we stay, we will always be good friends." Then suddenly Namra hears a sound and says, "They have come." Then she jumps down from the roof. And right here, this series ends.